Manifest from a higher level of consciousness. There's nothing else to change but self. Right? Manifest from a higher level of consciousness. For there is nothing to change but self. Alright? Now, if it is that somebody did you something wrong in the past, or whatever the case might be, or even if it's something that just happened recently, right? It can only affect you if you give it power, if you allow it to, if you are placing your attention on the wrongs of which that person did to you, right? There's nothing to change but self. Okay? So if a person wronged you, you don't try to change them. You don't try to force it in the physical way, to try to change them. Right? By changing your concept of self, you change that person's behavior towards you, because it's only a state that they're in. Right? We are all moving in and out of states. Alright? And people that are drawn to us, they're drawn to us based on our most dominant state of being at the time. Alright? Now, some people might say, well, if that is the case, like, due to like relationship wise, they might say, but I'm a very nice person, and this person that I attracted is so mean. Right? Now, in this case, when y'all first met or early up in the relationship, it was all love. Right? Because I don't think it would be a hate and love at first, and then still the relationship came about, in order for the relationship to come about, right? The both of you will have to be on the same level, being in the same state, and that is the state of love, right? And most of us experience this early on in the relationship. Everybody's on their best behavior and stuff like that, right? And it's all love. But what happens now later on in the relationship now, right? When things may start to get rocky or whatever, or as people would say, people start to show their so-called true colors, right? What happens is that those issues that we may have in the past, right? They start to erupt. They start to come about. That's when people say, people start to show their true colors. But it's just the experiences that you had in your past life, that you kept repeating over and over again, that became a part of you. That might seem to be a bit harsh or mean or whatever the case might be, right? Whatever situation it is that you experienced in the past, like childhood traumas or family problems or whatever the case might be, right? Then later on down in the relationship, now it may tend to erupt, right? And if you're not aware of it, you tend to then show the bad side, right? So let's say, you're the nice person or whatever, or that's what you claim, you're the so-called nice person, and your partner appears to be ever so mean, right? Now, the reason why he's going to continue, right, to appear to be ever so mean is because that is where you're giving your attention. Where attention goes, energy flows, right? What you give attention to, you give birth to, right? And majority of the times we as human beings, we tend to focus more on the negative aspect of things, like, especially if a person wrongs us, instead of looking at the good side, or the positive, so-called positive side. We tend to dwell on the actual action or whatever it is that the person did to us, right? And we tend to focus and give our attention to it, right? And that is what prolongs it. All right. So even if you claim to be a nice person, right, that is how you're seeing your partner, as a mean person or whatever it is that they did to you that wronged you. So what's going to happen there? You're feeding that. You're giving that your attention. You're feeding it, so it's going to grow and expand. Right? You're giving it life. You're giving it conscious life. The mean of your partner being mean to you or wronged you or whatever the case might be. Right? Now, as I said before, there's nothing to change but self. Right? So if you are aware of this now, and you can say, well, wait, hold on a minute, and you start to change the concept of yourself now, because whatever it is that they wronged you or was mean to you of, or whatever the case may be, it might affect you in some kind of way, You know, it might have you like second guessing yourself of the type of person that you really are, right? And your partner may not do it intentionally. You know, it could be something that they suffered from in the past that needs healing, right? And in that case, no, you will become their healer, right? And if that doesn't work out, no, and let's say you're part ways or whatever, he's gonna meet somebody else again, similar to you, you know, because in the beginning, no, he's gonna be in the love state. But in general, it's not saying that your partner is a mean person, you know. It could be just like um past childhood traumas or whatever, you know, that's still deep down inside within him or her, you know, that needs to be dealt with, right? But overall, it could be a good, loving person too, you know, and that's how y'all came about in the first place, you know, because they did have love in their heart, you know. It may still be a loving person, but it's just that that part of them needs healing, and you come now as their healer. So what's gonna happen if you're part ways now, or whatever the case may be? Your partner now will end up meeting somebody now similar to you, you know, until he learns the lesson, or her until they learn the lesson. That's how it is, right? So there's nothing to change but self. So if you keep feeding, giving that your attention that your partner is mean, it's going to prolong, it's going to expand. But if you can stop and change the self concept of yourself, right? Telling yourself you're the most amazing person, the most wonderful person in the world, you know, going on along those lines, right? And then change the concept now of how your partner now actually sees you, and you continue to persist in that assumption from day to day, you're going to see that your partner is going to change, because it's just a state that he or she is in, right? We're all moving in and out of states, okay? So even though you might claim to be like a nice person or whatever the case might be, if you're feeding your attention to the mean things or the things that they did to you that wronged you, and you keep playing it over and over constantly in your head, right? You're actually in that state, the same state as them. You get where I'm coming from? A majority of the times, like, people are unaware of that. So once you can become aware, right? You change the concept of yourself. There's nothing to change but self. Don't try to go about changing that person, right? Continue to tell yourself a loving story about yourself and how you want your partner to see you as the most amazing, loving person. You know, you all know handle your issues in a more respectable, productive manner. You know, your partner shows you with unconditional love, because you are unconditional love. You are so amazing. Your partner loves you unconditionally, right? It doesn't even always have to be like relationship wise. It could be like for a family member. You could be affirming that for, you know, or just somebody that random, you know, that wronged you or whatever the case might be, right? Don't try to go about changing them, right? Don't try to force things, right? Better yet, go within you, because we're all one pushed out, right? We're all one pushed out. So how you see a person, right? That is how they will respond to you and react to you. All right. When things like that happen, you operate from a higher level of consciousness, you know. And I know sometimes it could be a bit challenging, you know, because sometimes the ego tends to take over. It happens to the best of us, you know. But if you can operate from a higher level, right, operate from a level of love and see things the way we want it to be, eventually everything will conform to that. All right. So there's nothing to change but self, right? And no man comes to us by his own accord, right? People come into our lives, people are drawn to us by who we are, be it good, bad, or indifferent, right? Who we are, you know, people and situations and circumstances or whatever, you know, will be drawn to us, right? Based on the most dominant state that we are in at that time. Okay, so if you can keep yourself in a loving state, you know, a blissful state for the most part, you know, then you will see the people know that are coming into your lives will be that as well, you know, or the people who were already in your lives, right? But they were moving kind of like, you know, they were moving a bit mean and harsh to you. If you can keep yourself in that state, you will see now that those people know who were moving harsh and mean towards you, right? You will see they will start to shift now. They will start to um, move on a different level with you now. They will start to move the way how you are on that higher level of consciousness, you know, in that love and peace and bliss. You will see them start to change. The attitude will change towards you. right? They will tend to move more loving towards you, or in a more respectable manner. Right? So there's nothing to change but self. Don't try to change people. Don't try to force nothing. Tell yourself a particular loving story about yourself and how these people will see you, and how you want these people to see you. And walk in that assumption day to day. And you will see everything will start to conform to you based on your most dominant state. Alright? So I just hope this brief message was of help to you. There's nothing to change but self. Alright? I am Be floss to God, send you love, peace, joy, prosperity, and blessings to all you kings and queens, gods and goddesses, and beautiful people out there. Alright, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, feel free to do so. Feel free to like, feel free to comment, feel free to share my videos as well. Alright, I am Be floss to God, send you love and peace, and I'm out. And happy manifesting.